Welcome to the 1 to 9 podcast for interesting insights and knowledge from animals and other beings within multidimensional realms.
Well, hello, Diana.
Hello, Karin.
We have an interesting podcast again today. We have with us this very special guest, a horticulturist who has a vast amount of experience in all kinds of plants over millennia and millennia, and plant experience over different cosmic galaxies too, or
perhaps. But we're only basically interested in the earthly plants.
The earthly plants. Okay.
So he's saying, okay, that's fine. Yeah, sure.
All right. Excellent. This horticulturist.
But I mean, he has experience with stuff that doesn't exist and doesn't grow anymore, you know?
Oh, okay.
So.
And just in case you're wondering about Diana has asked if it's a sacred divine being, and
He said yes.
Okay. Now, does this horticulturist have a name?
Amir.
Amir? Oh, well, welcome, Amir.
Yes, welcome.
And also with us today, we have a number of edible plants here. We have carrots, spring onions, cilantro, lettuce, some garlic, lemon, tofu, some flowers, including a sage flower from my garden, and begonias, and pansies, violas, and a marigold, orange marigold. Is there anything else? Oh, some mushrooms are in there too. Oh, and I forgot, there's some baby kale. And then also there's a beet and cucumber smoothie that was just made joining us, and they all have come together to talk to us about whatever they have to say, you know, and they want us to know that they've got some information for us. And I'll let you begin, Diana, by describing what you're seeing.
Okay. Well, I'm seeing this lovely array of salad ingredients and a lovely bouquet of flowers and a beet smoothie, which doesn't look so lovely. However, the energy that's coming out of them is like really powerful, especially for some reason, the beet smoothie.
Now there's black seed and flax seed in the beet smoothie. And it's kind of one of the reasons it doesn't look so good is because it's only half full and it's all thick, because I was waiting for the seeds to thicken up before I topped it off with some more spring water.
Right. Okay. So we are assuming that these plants and flowers and fruits have consciousnesses so that they can communicate with us and we can communicate with them. And I think probably the sacred divine specialist or the horticulturalist, he will facilitate that, because I got a sense that when he appeared, salad ingredients, meaning the fruits and vegetables that were, well, flowers less so, that were unprocessed, they kind of like perked up. It's like, oh, good, he's here. It's like, okay.
So maybe he's more of a vegetable horticulturist than a flower horticulturist.
Could be, you know. But anyway, one of the questions.
So they know him from a prior encounter. Is that what you're saying?
If they don't know him as an individual, they know of him.
Oh, okay. So we called in a famous.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, he's
nice.
Yeah.
A famous.
He's been around for millennia. So.
Right. And his name?
What? Amir.
Amir. Okay. Awesome.
Right. Okay. So, I'm just going to start with this because this is what I'm getting from them. I said the beet and cucumber smoothies got more energy than the other kind of like raw, unprocessed fruits and vegetables. And I'm kind of like asking the beet smoothie, is it because these various ingredients have been combined to make the energy more powerful? Or is it because the addition of seeds are there too?
And garlic too is in there.
Yeah. So I don't know who's saying this. Maybe it's the horticulturalist. Maybe it's the smoothie. Maybe it's the ingredients in the smoothie, right? But they're saying that it's part the combination, right? And it's partly the seeds that are in there too.
Okay.
That cause the greater energy. So it's like the sum is greater
than the whole. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
I hope I got that right.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say, right? So individually, the energy of the individual ingredients would be, high, but combined together, they're higher.
Interesting. So the other ingredients, if they're just single ingredients right now, but if they were all like chopped up and put into a salad together, ask them if they'll be a much higher vibrating energy as well? Or do they actually get the plus from being blended?
So what's that last part again?
Does it work more effectively if they're blended together versus just like tossed in a salad together?
Oh, okay. No, they said no. It's blended or chopped up together or tossed in a salad together. It's kind of the same thing.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's the combining. And you got to make sure, they're saying you got to make sure it's like they want to be combined. Okay.
Interesting.
Because if you get something in there which doesn't want to be with the others or the others don't want to be with it, then it's kind of like the whole.
So how would you know?
Well, yeah. How would you know?
I mean, they need to give us a little guidance here.
Well, it's just by the energy that you feel.
So you
coming out of them.
You sense it when you're putting the salads together.
Right.
And that happens to me a lot. Like I'll be in the zone and I'll just be creating, and people later will ask me for a recipe. And I'm like, I would like to give you the recipe, but to be honest with you, I was going through ingredients that were speaking to me. And if I put it in a recipe, I don't even feel like the same ingredients in a different place in a different time would necessarily want to be combined in the same way.
Right. So for the people who are listening, I think perhaps can we make a stab at kind of like trying to define how you and I recognize this energy? Or
yeah, for me, it's almost like I just go into a zone and something says, "Hey, include me."
And what is that? I mean, is it like, do you think it's the vegetable talking or whatever ingredient you've got to put in? Where's that coming from?
I think it comes from a number of places. It might come from my own like needs. So I'm looking, my body's reacting to things and say, hey, I need that. As well as the vegetable might be, I'd like to be paired with this. And I don't generally follow a lot of rules that are followed by traditional, I want to say not traditional, but I want to say like in this latest century traditional way of combining foods. I might actually combine things a little differently just by what my body is saying that it's craving. And some of it has to do with how hungry am I? Because sometimes I have to go for something I can crave really quickly.
Great.
And sometimes I have to go for things I know will want to be cooked or prepared more slowly. And I have to be patient with the process. Like this beet smoothie, for example, I made those this morning, but I wanted to make sure that the black seed and flaxseed had a chance to do its thing. And so I knew I wasn't going to eat them this morning. I was going to wait. And I don't know if that was right or not, but that's the sense I got. So I haven't had one yet.
I see. Interesting.
And I don't know, maybe they would be able to say to me, hey, you missed the boat. It was higher energy when you just made it. Or it's higher energy now by waiting for us to like release our like seeds often have these inhibitors, energy. They're encapsulating the energy. They're oxalates and phytic acids and enzyme inhibitors, and they hold on to everything so that a seed can last a long time until the climate's right for it to grow. And so kind of by making a smoothie, you're sort of opening, you're providing that moisture and maybe a little bit of warmth but it still needs time to release and bloom almost.
Great. So can you get a sense of when you first made the smoothie, your feelings about it? So it's like the energy that you're getting from it. Is it greater now than before, or the same or less?
It feels greater now, but I wouldn't drink it without adding a little bit of spring water to it. It feels like it needs the water, which I kind of thought it would.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's just my body just really knew that it didn't want to eat it right away. It wanted to save it for later.
Right. So somehow this way of preparing foods, it's kind of like seems to be geared to particular time and place, as well as for particular people. So in terms of translating this, say if you have to prepare food for, say, a family or a group of people that's like, more than 10 people, I'm wondering if perhaps more power can be given to the fruits and vegetables to actually have a say in how they're prepared and what things are put together. Because you can't go to each person individually and
no, but you can have a sense if you're preparing for a group, then you just tap into their group collective needs and ask the plants or whatever your foods you're providing to align with that group. You can't. So if you have a family, you can, but you may choose to just prepare one thing that would be the overriding energy lifter of the entire family, because a family has its energy and individuals have its energy. This was prepared for me, myself, and I. And I don't necessarily like sharing a recipe that someone else might prepare the exact same way and expect the exact same results. But if I was going to prepare a recipe, I wonder if I could ask the plants to work with me to say, hey, prepare a recipe that would be best for the masses versus best for myself or, a family or whatever. Because I think I do that a lot. I create things that are in the moment, or I'll create even a salad dressing can totally transform the energy of a salad. And that salad dressing, is designed to work for the group of people that are going to be eating that salad, whether it's 40 people or myself. So I don't know. It's just, I guess you can set the intention for your recipes to work individually or for someone specifically or for a group.
Right. So this is actually quite interesting because it actually gets into the mindset of the preparer. Okay.
Working with the preparees.
Right. I was going to say something about just mindset in general.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I mean, first of all, you have to be kind of like energetically aware and be able to tap into, so like the family energy, the collective energy. And then also you have to be conscious of your own energy. Because if you're in a space where had an argument with somebody or there's this awful problem that you're dealing with, if you take that into that mindset and energy with you into while you're preparing the food, it's not going to work out.
Well, it's interesting because I wonder sometimes, like occasionally I'll just walk into the kitchen. I may not be feeling the greatest for whatever reason. And I walk into the kitchen and I feel like my food is like, it's almost like saying, hey, I can help out, and then I start preparing things. I start cooking things. And next thing you know, I'm feeling really good again. And it's almost like, yes, if you had to maybe prepare food for someone else and you didn't want to do it and you weren't in a good mood, you would not maybe be helping. You might be countering the energy of the food. But I've often found that sometimes the food actually helps me lift up quite a bit. I mean, sometimes I'm amazed at what I can get out of my kitchen. I'm like, oh, wow, look at this.
Right. So there's this two-way interaction.
Right.
Between you and the food that you're working with.
And I think probably a lot of really good food preparers know that there is a relationship between what they're doing and their love or the passion that they bring to it. But at the same time, the food is there with its own vibration to add to the mix. So do these plants, do they actually have specific comments?
Oh, they were agreeing with that. Previously, they were saying, oh, yes. I mean, whoever's preparing us, they have to care about what they do to us. You know?
What about the people that grow them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, they have a deep respect for where they came from and how they got here, meaning who grew them, the farms that they were on, and the dirt they were in. And so like the horticulturist is saying, yes, it's a very, not complicated, but it's a long chain. And the energy and intent can be always high vibrating and positive, right?
All along the way, the entire chain.
It can be, even if there's like little breaks in it.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of like are smoothed over if the majority of the chain is high vibrating. And
so does it matter then if they come from smaller farms or big farms, or just that the farms have the right intention?
It doesn't matter that just the farms have the right intention.
And does it matter if they're organically grown or?
Yeah, it does matter, because they're saying those chemicals, they really don't like the chemicals.
Okay. So that degrades their energetic.
They just don't like them.
Right. But it degrades their energy level.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Makes them weaker energetically.
Yeah. I mean, they find them really irritating, you know. It's true.
So if a plant comes to us and it's irritated,
it can pass that irritation on to us.
Okay, it can pass that irritation on to us, but is there something that can be done to help that plant when it gets to us in that state of irritation before we eat it? Let's just say we don't have any choice. We're pretty darn hungry and there's a unorganic piece of food in front of us.
Yes, something can be done.
What is that?
Again, it's the intent.
Mm-hmm.
If you treat the food with respect and compassion and love, it will be able to, you will help it get rid of its irritation.
Okay. One time I was this is a sidebar here, but one time I was in a resort in Mexico called Rio Calientes. It's no longer there, but they use this mineral and lithium-rich water that came out of the Sierra Madres it was hot water, and they would spray it up into the air over their gardens, and it would water their gardens, and then they would serve you the food out of the gardens. And the gardens would also feed their chickens, and their eggs came from this mineral-rich water. And I've never tasted food, in my opinion, this high vibrating energy in my life since or before. And it didn't seem like you could eat too much. Everything just had this flavor that was, it was regular food, but it had flavors beyond anything. Mm-hmm. And the experience of eating, it made you, it just seemed like a really interesting, like exalted experience. I wish if I could wave a magic wand and open this, resort back up, set up that type of practice again. But I don't know if the horticulturist specialist has anything to say about that particular food and that particular experience. And I just still remember it to this day. I've just never experienced something like that.
Well, he's saying that's sort of like the state of perfection, right? So, I mean, if you're growing something in conditions where the plants or flowers are supplied with everything that they need and then some, then the energy will be incredibly high. They'll be incredibly happy. They'll be incredibly positive, and they will taste completely delicious.
Okay. So my thoughts about that are probably just confirmed. It's like, it was just absolutely unbelievable. These plants must have had everything they could have ever wanted. I'm wondering and thank you for that. I can't forget that experience, or it'll go with me to the end. I was just outside of Guadalajara, Mexico, just really one of the most magical places I've ever been in the world. And, but I have another question about plants and their energy. Is there some synthesis that takes place between the sun and the earth that gives their energy or their sustenance to us as a new consciousness or a supporter of new consciousness, like in the sense of like, you know, I mean, it's one thing to raise your energy and raise your vibration, but it's another thing to actually, you know, step into a whole nother level of consciousness, which a lot of us feel is taking place around the earth right now in a lot of ways. And I'm just wondering, just do these elements of food, are they, you know, they have the hydrogen molecules, the carbon molecules, the oxygen.
Okay. So, I'd have to go back to the lobsters who were saying, yes, I mean, if you eat us, you will expand your consciousness. Okay. The plants aren't actually saying that. I don't quite know why, but yeah, they're saying that's not really their role.
Okay.
However, there are some of them have more, if you're going on a scale of if they could do that, some of them could do that more.
And it,
like the flowers.
yeah, I saw you looking at
higher.
I saw you looking at the flowers, and I'm wondering, because my sense is that all the plants right now, the flowers have the highest conscious to offer you, and edible flowers or the adding edible flowers into your food, however you want to do that.
Okay, so
Beneficial.
So the lobsters were saying, okay, you can expand your consciousness. So like, and they give me the example, going from a small dark room into a big, huge sunny room. The flowers, it's a little bit different. It's like, it's not that profound or powerful, but it's kind of like more a lightness of being.
Right. Okay.
That's what they have to offer.
A lightness of being to consume the flowers.
Right.
And the plants, it's more just like raising your energetic vibration.
Yeah. Except I'm looking at them. Some of them are saying, oh, yeah, we can do a little bit more, like the garlic and the mushrooms. I'm saying we could do a little bit more.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. And the seeds maybe that were in the smoothie.
Oh, yes. I forgot about them.
They're a little different. They're not your average. They're not your average salad ingredient. We're looking at a salad type thing here, but what about there's some tofu there.
Oh, yeah. No, the tofu is with the other vegetables.
Even though that one's fermented. I kind of threw it in there because it's fermented.
Yeah.
Theoretically has some bacteria. Remember we talked about the bacteria?
Right. Yeah. Well, in terms of sort of like expanding consciousness.
Mm-hmm. So we're talking mushrooms, garlic.
The tofu is not saying they're like the garlic and the mushrooms.
Okay. So we have garlic, the mushrooms, and the flowers out of this group that might help us expand the consciousness.
Right. And they're not exactly telling me how. Well, except for the flowers. The flowers, they said, oh, lightness of being.
Well, the garlic might be able to do it on a whole bunch of levels, because I think garlic can...
Lightness of being?
No. Well, I don't know about that, but it's, you know, it's a grounding energy, and it's also, you know, antibacterial for bad bacteria energy. So it's like a health energy. And I think it also has a capacity to sort of work on a DNA level within us. I'm not 100% sure, but they're agreeing with that, or the horticulturist knows.
You know, everything that you said, they're saying, yeah. Horticulturist also is saying.
Is there something I left out?
No, it's so like with the garlic, it's something on a cellular level.
Right, on a cellular level, not DNA, but a cellular level.
Yeah.
Okay. And that makes sense. Can I ask a couple of specific questions about the garlic?
Yeah, sure.
I like to smash the garlic and then wait and then chop it up and eat it, because I feel like there's special compounds that mix together to enhance its wellness properties. And does the garlic like it when I do that? Sometimes I think I'm hurting it when I smash it. I just, you know, take a little jar and I go, and I smash it.
Well, you know, the garlic realizes that it will eventually be sliced or minced,
Mhm.
right? Or crushed, right? So like whatever that it doesn't think about
Okay.
that.
But,
Okay.
but does it enhance the value of it to actually crush it and wait before I throw it into foods or eat it?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So that's some advice I've been giving to people for a long time. And I get a lot of hits on my website for that. And I thought it'd be nice to just ask the garlic directly. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, garlic.
They're saying like 25%.
Of it's true, or
No, I mean,
25% more
yeah,
energy by crushing it
right.
first and waiting 20 minutes or so.
Yeah. Mm.
Interesting. Okay. What is it about the mushrooms? I mean, really, mushrooms are gaining in popularity. People are trying to eat them. They're talking about drinking them like coffees every day.
Yeah, in terms of, I mean, I know people think of mushrooms as kind of like this psychedelic kind of thing,
That too, the psychedelic thing.
but
We're not looking at psychedelic mushrooms here, by the way.
yeah, but they're the ones in the bowl. They are what, shiitakes?
I forgot.
I'm gonna touch one.
Yeah, they won't bite.
Oh, they're just like the brown mushrooms.
Yeah,
Baby portobellos.
maybe baby portobellos are in there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which ones I bought even though. It's just like, just looking at the mushrooms, I'm like, they're all sliced up. That's why we can't tell.
Yeah, they're saying that all mushrooms have a capability of actually doing something to your brain.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we're talking about expanding consciousness.
Right.
So they're saying they do something to the actual, I don't know, fabric of your brain to make your consciousness expand a little bit.
Okay. That's interesting. So all the different kinds of mushrooms that they're putting into like mushroom coffees and stuff, that's really good then. A lot of people are drinking that instead of coffee in the morning or tea.
Yeah,
It's helping
apparently.
people.
Except like, what do they do to the mushrooms? They roast them and stuff?
I don't know. I think all of them are different. Some of them might freeze dry them and grind them up so they're like a powder. And some might roast them first.
Yeah.
A lot of them I think are dried. I really don't know. I haven't looked into it. So the preparation process of these mushrooms might make a difference.
Yeah, they're saying, a little bit, but not too much.
Oh, so
Best would be fresh.
fresh. Okay, the fresh ones are the best.
Yeah.
What about mushroom gravy? Do they like being made into mushroom gravy, cooked a little? Or they like just being eaten raw?
No, cooked a little is okay.
Just cooking them a little enhance their energy?
No, it detracts a little bit,
Okay.
but not much.
Okay. Because a lot of people don't like to eat raw mushrooms.
I know. Yeah, I mean, same with kind of like drying them. Actually, drying them doesn't do anything to them.
Doesn't reduce their energy at all.
No, because they're still essentially raw,
Right.
you know. But freeze drying them,
A little harsh.
it's like the cooking. It's so like detracts from the energy a little bit.
Oh, speaking of that, in our salad bowl here, we don't have tomatoes, but it's my understanding that tomatoes, like super ripe tomatoes that are really red on the vine, have a lot of energy. Want to look at that, or are they just not there today, so we shouldn't talk about them?
Oh no, they can answer for, their fellow vegetables that aren't here.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious about the tomatoes.
Yeah, they're saying yes, lots of energy.
But if they're kind of firm and hard and not ripe yet, or is their energy not there?
It's about half.
It's about half.
Yeah.
And what if you cook them slightly? Does that increase their energy or reduce it?
It's kind of like stays the same. And depending on how you actually cook it, and what you pair it with, it could increase.
Okay, so like if you pair it with sugar, for example.
Ooh, don't pair it with sugar.
Is that what the tomato said?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people, that's what I'm saying this because that's the way I was served. Tomatoes fresh out of the garden, sliced with sugar on top as a kid. And I learned later that sugar cuts the acid of the tomato. And maybe that was one of the reasons it got started but they're saying that actually detracts from their energy.
Oh, they're saying, no, that's bad.
What about some people put salt and pepper on their tomatoes?
That's okay.
And some people...
they're saying you put honey on there. It's okay. Instead of the sugar, just no sugar.
No sugar at all. It's just interesting. It's like, where do these things come from sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And lots of times you see tomato sauces be prepared with sugar in them. And they're saying that to cut the acid. And we always used carrots to cut the acid. But
yeah, I was going to say that. Carrots are sweet, and they're saying that too. Yeah.
Carrots and tomatoes are a good pairing.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious because and
then there's onions, right? So you're talking about tomato sauce and garlic, right?
They all love each other.
And sometimes you can put mushrooms in there.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, okay.
It's all raising the energy of it.
Yeah.
So all those cooked together.
They all love each other.
So all those cooked together with love.
Right. Yes.
And what about this is kind of another slightly off topic, but similar topic. What about the idea of just going into some state of gratitude before you eat food? Do they want you to do that? Just, thank them and maybe the entire chain of events that got them to...
Oh, this is just a continuation of the preparer, right?
Right.
The preparer's mindset. It's like working with love and respect and compassion and whatever with all these fruits and vegetables. It's transferred over once the food is prepared and the people start to eat it.
But they need to say thank you as well, or be gracious of something.
They don't have to say it out loud, but they certainly have to be thinking this.
Like a mindfulness
approach
to eating.
Yes.
And that raises the vibration and seals the deal.
Well, it doesn't raise the vibration that much. It actually causes your body to utilize the vibration. I mean, it makes the most of the vibration, right?
Okay. Excellent.
Once the food is inside of you.
Right. So it basically prepares your own body to receive the food.
Right. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
And they certainly like being thanked for, because they give their lives for this.
Now, is there anything that they want to say to us for our listeners would be helpful for the listeners to know, or something they wouldn't know otherwise?
They're saying they like the role that they play in the lives of humans on Earth. They really, if they're grown and used in the way that they're supposed to, they really love what they do. That's what they want us to know.
Okay.
So they're not just sort of like just objects that you can just toss around or throw away. They don't like that. So
they even like it when you try to use all the ones that you buy, and don't be careless with them.
Right. Exactly. If you buy, what's the percentage of food waste from a household, right? And a lot of it is fruits and vegetables that just go bad.
Or go near bad.
They don't like that.
Okay.
They really don't like that.
So do they think people in general should eat more of them, more fruits and vegetables? Or is it not something that they particularly have an opinion about?
Oh, no, they certainly think people should enjoy fruits and vegetables more. Yeah.
Enjoy them more or eat more of them? Or both?
Both.
I could really enjoy this apple, but not eat another one for 2 years.
Oh, yeah. No, but in their minds, right?
To help people.
No, in their minds, not people's minds, in the fruits and vegetables minds. Eating and enjoyment is the same thing. Okay. Because you're not going to eat more than you can actually enjoy. If you start eating too much, you're not going to enjoy it.
I don't know if I always agree with that, but sometimes I'm not enjoying myself after I've eaten more than I should have, but doesn't mean I've stopped along the way. But
so, they're actually pretty chatty. They've got a lot to say.
Oh, well, go ahead and let them talk.
And they've communicated a lot so far.
Yes, they have.
And they, what can I say? They like what they're doing, and we have to like them back.
And they're pretty happy.
Yeah, they're pretty happy. Oh, they even talk amongst themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the lettuce is talking to the cilantro, is talking to the onions, talking to the carrot.
Yeah. And this is how they communicate with each other. And then the preparer or whoever buys them and prepares them, that's how they get information back and forth.
So if you're really in tune with your communication with your veggies or anything you're buying, you can be walking down the grocery store aisle and they'll say, pick me.
That's good, I guess.
And you can even ask them maybe ahead of time, those of you who all want to be in the same dish together, get ready because here I come and let me know.
That's right. That could happen. I'm reminded of something but I can't quite remember it exactly, so I'm not going to start talking about it at all. But it was really kind of odd. Maybe if I remember it more before the end of the episode, I'll describe it, but I can't at the moment.
Now, we made a lot of assumptions in this podcast that raising your higher energy would be good. And I know when you think about your own energy, it's like if you feel really high energy that day, you feel generally good. Feel like you can do what you want to do that day when your energy is high. Is that what we're talking about here? Or we're talking about actually shifting your energy, raising it, like both? Okay, so shifting it and raising it.
Because what do fruits and vegetables supply? They supply energy, so your body functions. Energy in the first definition, right? Right. But then there's also the vibrational energy, which they also supply.
Right.
So.
And they reflect the energy that's coming through the sun and the earth at any given time. So then the whole chain. So if there's some new consciousness coming through the earth and the sun, they'll pick it up and embody it and share it with us.
Yeah. This is where it gets a little bit cloudy, right? Because somehow the energy that they're getting from the earth, the reason why people use fertilizers because the earth is depleted, right? So how can you actually get more nutrients back into the earth? I don't know.
Water out of the Sierra Madre.
Yeah, okay.
Bottle it up and bring it home. Water your gardens.
But I'm thinking that perhaps there's another way too, because I just completed Reiki certification for level 1. And one of the things I tried doing was with 2 jars of water, I tap water. Okay. On one of the jars, I performed Reiki. And even though they said, okay, you should do it for like 15, 20 minutes. I did it only for a couple of minutes. And then I said, okay, Reiki, continue. So like infusing the water with energy, but I'm going to disconnect from you. A couple of days later, I tasted both waters. You can really taste the difference.
Oh, wow.
Man, okay. The jar of water that I performed Reiki on was smoother and sweeter. The jar of tap water still tasted like the tap water, right?
Interesting.
So I'm kind of like wondering, and they say you can also do this on wine. It's like, what if you do this to your plants? If you grow plants or fruits, or vegetables in your garden, right? What if you do this to the plants that you're growing in your garden, or do this to fruits and vegetables that you actually harvest from your garden or buy from the store? Will they taste different? Will their energy, not necessarily the nutrient value, but will that energy be higher?
Well, obviously the answer is probably yes. So I would think, though, that if we really got collaborative about this, that you could send a Reiki master to a farm and do a couple minutes of Reiki on the farm and say, continue without me, I'm going off to another farm.
Why you think that? Yeah.
And maybe maybe we could raise the vibration of everything, including the soil that's depleted.
Right, exactly.
So it's a good agricultural, horticultural experiment that we have laid out before us. And any PhD student who wants to help us with this, please get in touch with us. I think we're going to need to leave it at that because this podcast is running a little too long.
Oh, okay, fine. Wait, please stop.
But we can come back and talk to the foodie plants again sometime. Thank you for joining us, plants. Thank you, horticultural expert from beyond. And
Yes, thank you very much.
thank you, flowers. Thank you, beet cucumber smoothie. I think Diane and I'll test you out when we're done. Bye.
Bye.
That's all for this episode of the 1 to 9 podcast. Thank you for listening, and please sign up for our newsletter at 1to9podcast.com.